So camera comparison, a lot of you were asking for. This is the Realme 6 up against the Redmi Note 9S. So this is going to be a little bit different to my other camera comparisons where I was free to move around town. Obviously, I can't do that at the moment under lockdown. It's just around my backyard here, my garden, and inside as well. So it's going to be a little different, but still we can compare the cameras here. So I'll be swapping between the audio sources. Let me know which one you think is better. I think they're both actually average. So this sample here is 4K 30 frames per second, which both of them can shoot. We don't have any 4K 60 frames per second option. So looking at my messy garden here with quite a few weeds, you can see when I walk ahead that we don't have any electronic image stabilization with either of these, which is a shame. Vera. Now focus on both, it does seem to be quite good. No problems there. As you see now, the Xiaomi's a lot smoother, but the electronic image stabilization, even in 1080p, well, in fact, it doesn't actually look to be working at all on the Realme 6 here, which is really disappointing. So I'll go down these steps. So this is the ultra wide, and I think the Xiaomi is doing a much better job here. When you take a look at the pillars just up here, the white, that we're actually getting a bit more in terms of detail there, better dynamic range, just overall better 1080p footage with the ultra wide camera, and smoother, of course, with electronic image stabilization with the Note 9S. So I think the Redmi Note 9S definitely aces it here. Well, wins in video quality. And here we have low light 4K video, so it's just over midnight here, and the moon is up. Take a look at that. You can see a lot of noise on both of these, but definitely here the Realme 6 has a lot of noise, and that focus is pulsing in and out. So what about these front-facing cameras as well in low light? You can see that they are both struggling here with these conditions. I'm going to step away from this light here because I've got that source there that's helping these cameras. None of them have front-facing flashes either, and you can see that it doesn't look good on either, but let me know in the comments which one do you think is better here. I think they're both pretty bad. I think more noise perhaps on the Realme 6. Okay, so that's the camera comparison, a rather short one, this one, but what did you think there of the results? I think portrait photos, I like the colors better on the Realme 6. Not that the Redmi Note 9 does a bad job, I just think it's a little too bright at times, especially the skin seems to be a little bit more whitened, and that includes daylight selfies. Daylight photos, very close sometimes between both of them. I've noticed that the Realme 6 often over sharpens and a little bit more saturated, especially with the bright colors. That's where the Note 9 does an excellent job there. Okay, the 64 megapixels versus the 48, using those modes, you're not really gaining too much, okay? I would just use the normal mode, so it's the pixel binning, and that is fine. In terms of video quality, quite disappointing, especially that ultra wide on the Realme 6. I mean, it's terrible quality from that one. I would never use it. Not that great either on the Note 9, but the Note 9 definitely wins in terms of video quality. I think it's
better there, but the audio on the Realme 6 did, to my ears at least, sound a little bit richer, a little better there. Now the night modes with low light, both of them have a lot of noise, and both of them, come on, let's be honest here, both of them have terrible night modes, okay? But I think at times it's actually slightly better on the Redmi, whereas other times it could be a little bit better on the Realme. It both terrible there in terms of low light performance. Not good results. Now the macro was a big surprise. The 2 megapixel ultra macro mode on the Realme, if it's using that 2 megapixel sensor, at least it looks to with a resolution, it definitely is, I think, actually came out to be better. On the Redmi, when you cropped in and zoomed in, there's a lot of noise there. So it is kind of close between them. So it really depends on daylight photos. You want the best daylight photos, get the Note 9S. And if you want somewhere kind of in between, especially ultra wides, again, go for the Note 9S isn't really that much better, but the Realme tends to oversaturate there. So they definitely are sort of trading blows, but in terms of video, the clear winner, if you shoot a lot of video, get yourself the Note 9S out of these two. Thank you so much for watching this comparison. Now I will have not just a camera comparison, but a general comparison between these two models, and also check in the channel the full review for both of these.